all pterodactyls are dinosaurs, looks like this. For every x, or for all x's, if x is a pterodactyl, that was one of the ones that flew. Pteranodon, another one. If x is a pterodactyl, then x is a dinosaur. Can we follow this? It's not that hard. Right, for every x, yeah. Here you read from left to right, as you do normally, for every x. If x is a pterodactyl. Once you're inside the parentheses, you read backwards. Then, arrow, x is a dinosaur. Therefore, if Igon is a pterodactyl, sorry Igon, you get to fly. Then Igon is a dinosaur. You've been called worse things. Yes? No? I don't know. Dinosaurs aren't that bad. Yeah. Okay. Notice that the predicate expressions come first. Is a pterodactyl. Is a dinosaur. And notice that they are in italics, or should be, meaning slanted, right? Don't forget, the predicate expressions come first, and they should be in italics, or slanted. So if I want to say, Jeff is tall, it would look like this. Jeff is tall. Bill is burly. Look like this. Ralph is a utilitarian. Look like that. Stephanie is diabolical. I mean, Stephanie's up there. Sorry. It looks like that. We'll go over this, and I'll put something up on universal instantiation. Okay, let's talk about an ethical issue. Abortion. Get rid of this. Can I do it? Okay. I'm sorry about the PowerPoint. It's very bright. You can't see the word. How did abortion become legal in the United States? So this is a very interesting topic. I find it very interesting. Again, I don't have a position on abortion. I don't have a position on most things. I really don't. I'm on the fence on just about everything. I'm a coward, I guess. But I know quite a bit about it, and you should know about it too. So let's give you some background first, right? I had a student who wrote me that immigration should be legal. Immigration is legal, right? Abortion is legal. Don't write a paper saying abortion should be legal. It already is. Now, anyways, we don't know. Might change the law. Wow, you can't see that, right? So how did abortion become legal in the United States? Well, this is going to be a little history lesson. It all started in 1969 in Dallas, Texas, a Lone Star State. We all know the words. What is it? No, it's not long ago. 69, what is that? 30, 50, 53 years? Yeah. Before that, it was illegal everywhere. Except I think that when the woman's life was at risk. Yeah. So we all see people holding those signs that say Roe v. Wade, Roe v. Wade. Well, who was Roe and who was Wade? If you ask a lot of these people, believe it or not, they don't know. They just say Roe v. Wade, but some of them do know, of course. Some of them don't. So who was Roe? Well, Roe, more fully, Jane Roe, was a pseudonym. It's not a real name. It's like John Doe. You use it when you don't want publicity. It didn't work, right? But anyways, her real name was Norma McCorvey. So Jane Roe in Roe v. Wade was actually Norma McCorvey. Well, who was Norma McCorvey? It's a Texan woman who got pregnant. She claimed she was raped. She was a liar. She lied at least 3 or 4 times about very important things in her life. No, she's not credible. She just wasn't. She's lied quite a bit, right? So she lied about the rape too. Well, she did want an abortion, but she was never raped. So she wants to get the abortion, but at that time in '69, right? Texas law prohibited all abortions. I don't know if that's true. I think that if, as I said earlier, we found out later. Yeah, she lied about a lot of things. You can look into it. You'll see it's true. Yeah, I lied too. So Anyways, I'm a liar. Yeah, Texas law prohibited all abortions. I don't know if that's correct. I think that some abortions were allowed, again, if the woman's life was at risk. If the pregnancy complicated the woman's life or health. But maybe it was the case that even those, I don't think so. I would say 98%, 99% of abortions were prohibited, to be sure. Certainly. Maybe. Norma McCorvey thought this violated her constitutional rights, or she wants an abortion, but she can't have it, and she says that this violates her constitutional rights. So she filed a lawsuit against the state of Texas. Can't even see it. She could not have the abortion done. It was illegal. Right. Moreover, there was no evidence of a rape. So she went to the law offices of Weddington and Coffey. These are the lawyers that represented her against Texas. Weddington and Coffey. They were getting lots of clients. They were representing lots of people. Why? Because they were offering free pizza. And so, hey, you want a free pizza? If we represent you, you get a free slice of pizza. Okay, that's good. So that's how she was lured into. That's how Roe wound up at Weddington and Coffey's office. That is Henry B. Wade. So now you know who Wade was, the district attorney. If we could even read that, right? Geez, who designed this? Anyways, Henry B. Wade, very important. It's true, yeah. Free pizza. Yeah. Henry B. Wade was the district attorney in town. Very important man. Very important man. Very important figure in the history in the modern history, or the recent history, if you will, of Texas. He was also around during the Kennedy assassination. He's the one that says, we found the weapon, struck down the president. He claimed it was Lee Harvey Oswald. We all know it's a lie, right? Everybody's lying down there in Dallas. We all know it was a conspiracy. Nothing wrong with being a conspiracy theorist. There are conspiracies. People do conspire. They do plot in secret. Bank robbers plot in secret. Embezzlers plot in secret. Those are conspiracies. So there was a conspiracy to assassinate Kennedy. This guy was around. That was roughly 8 years before this whole thing we're talking about. So Wade is going to represent Texas. That's where you get Roe v. Wade from, because it was Jane Roe, really Norman McCorvey, against Henry B. Wade. He was a good old boy. So what happened? Were Weddington and Coffey up to it? Were Jane's lawyers any good? Yes, they were good. And she won the case in Texas. Eventually, a Texas district court ruled that the anti-abortion law is unconstitutional. It violates the right to privacy. Maybe I should rewrite this eventually. I don't think I should be using the word constitutional yet, or unconstitutional yet. I'm not sure. Let's just say what we do know for certain. Eventually, a district court ruled in favor of Roe, because the current law, the current anti-abortion law, violated her right to privacy. Let's forget about the Constitution for a second, because that may not. I don't know that they invoked the Constitution yet. If they did, it wasn't the central reason given. At least not yet. That would happen later in the Supreme Court. So Weddington and Coffey win. In a nutshell, why? Because Roe's right to privacy was violated. Her right to privacy. Let's forget about the Constitution for a second. In Griswold versus Connecticut in '65, the right to privacy had been invoked. Yes, I think that what happened in Texas is that Weddington and Coffey claimed Roe's right to privacy was violated. Wade says, where the hell do you get that she had a right to privacy? And this seems correct. It had been invoked in Griswold versus Connecticut, a case that had to do with contraceptives, condoms, birth control, that kind of thing. So, in a nutshell, essentially the case goes like that, right? It goes like this: a right to privacy is violated if she cannot have an abortion. A right to privacy is violated if she cannot have the abortion. Why does she have a right to privacy? There's a precedent. What's the precedent? The Griswold versus Connecticut case. The right to privacy was invoked there. So she wins. However, the ruling is not upheld. It was still almost impossible to have an abortion in Texas. So sometimes some things are legal, but they cannot be gotten. The law says you can have this, you can have that, but you can't get it. No one wants to follow the law. So it was a moot victory. Yes, in the books, she can have an abortion, but in actuality, she still cannot go anywhere in Texas to have the abortion, or the abortion clinic is 1,000 miles away or something, and they perform one abortion, right, every 75 years. Hey, it's legal, right? That doesn't help anyone, right? So the case went all the way up to the Supreme Court. This will wake you up. This PowerPoint will wake you up, let me tell you. Yeah, she took the case to the Supreme Court because they figured that if the Supreme Court ruled in her favor and made abortion, yeah, super right, and made abortion legal, then she would be guaranteed an abortion because of the power of the federal government. And in January 1973, exactly 49 years ago, not exactly, but 49 years, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Roe. So once again, I could move the text down, right, towards darker down here. No, she had the baby. She had the baby, yeah. And believe it or not, they almost didn't. Some people were saying, forget this case. She had the baby. There is a law or rule according to which you shouldn't proceed with a case if it no longer has any influence on the state of affairs, right? But they overruled that for somehow. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know all the technicalities. My friends are lawyers, divorce lawyers. They tell me don't get married. I never did. Not that anyone would want to marry me anyway, but you know what I mean. Anyways, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Roe. Now, why did the Supreme Court rule in favor of Jane Roe, otherwise known as Norma McCorvey? Right? Did they, as they did in Texas, and pay very close attention because you're going to be running into a lot of people that talk about this without the background. So why did the Supreme Court rule in favor of Roe? Did they also cite the earlier case from 1965, Griswold versus Connecticut? No. They did mention privacy, but not because of Griswold versus Connecticut. But I'm getting ahead of myself. There are not fundamentally, but these three reasons were given. The first two are not taken that seriously because what really matters is whether or not a law is constitutional. But it means something, right? Abortion was legal in Roman law. Yes, believe it or not, we still take the Romans seriously. Right? They have the empire. We don't come even close. The United States doesn't come even close to the Romans. So since abortion was legal in Roman law, maybe we can consider that a precedent. Right? B, abortion was/is legal in Anglo-American common law. Common law is the set of all those judgments or determinations. Judgments, actually. That a judge makes when he or she cannot refer to the books for guidance. Right? So suppose some judge is overseeing some trial, and what's happened in this particular case is something novel. Then the judge has to figure out what should the sentence be? What should the punishment be? This is all new territory, uncharted waters. I can't refer to the books for this. It's not in the books. So I got to come up with something. Well, when a judge does that, when a judge comes up with a ruling, with a sentence, with a law, that becomes a kind of precedent. And all of these precedents become common law. So common law is not the law that Congress passes. It's legislative. Common law is the law that the judge has to pass, has to come up with when he or she is confronted with something novel and there's nothing in the books to guide him or her. Finally, C, abortion is a woman's constitutional right. This is going to be what the founding father taught. This is going to be what the Supreme Court is going to focus on. This is going to be the fundamental reason for making abortion legal. It's constitutional, says the Supreme Court. It's constitutional. Well, if someone tells you it's constitutional, if someone tells you abortion is constitutional, then you have to ask him or her, okay, where is that in the Constitution? And that's when you open up a whole can of worms. 2 amendments, of course, they're in the Bill of Rights, are cited. There's another one too that's cited, but the first one they cite is the 9th Amendment. The 9th Amendment says, the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. What does this mean? Simply it says, look, the Constitution specifies that you have certain rights. The right to bear arms, the right to form a militia, right? I was talking about this with a student. We have a right to form a militia. I can go into the woods and put on camouflage or whatever. It's absolutely constitutional. Stock up on the ammo. It's true. You have a right to form a militia. Don't forget, the founding fathers were more afraid of government than they were of the people. The founding fathers were more afraid of government. So that's why they wanted people to form militias. That's the Second Amendment. But anyways, this is the 9th Amendment. So the 9th Amendment says you have certain rights. The right to religion, freedom of religion, the right to form your own militia, run around, shooting things, whatever. You can do that. The law of the land. But just because we don't mention a particular right doesn't mean you don't have it. So the 9th Amendment is really saying the Constitution is incomplete. You may have more rights. You may have more rights. But it doesn't say, of course, it would be paradoxical if I mentioned, if it said what the rights are. It doesn't. It just says, you may have more. But we forgot to put it down. Oops. So here it says, in other words, according to the 9th Amendment, the Bill of Rights is incomplete. There are other natural rights or laws from long-standing custom. One of these is a right to privacy. So this is true. This is actually something you shouldn't dispute. It's indisputable, right? Even though the right to privacy is not explicitly anywhere in the Constitution, even though it is not explicitly anywhere in the Constitution, you still have it. You still have it. Because among other things, it's part of our culture. So that's how the Supreme Court defends the claim that Norma McCorvey has a right to privacy. Where is that in the Constitution? Nowhere. Oh, but she doesn't have it. Wait a minute. She does have a right to privacy. Everyone does, even though it's not explicitly written. Because don't forget that the Ninth Amendment allows for other rights. The Ninth Amendment is a recognition of the imperfection and incompleteness of the Constitution. There are other rights that we may have left out. And what characterizes these rights is that they're a part of our culture, of our custom. So that's how they derive, I think, in this case, I think, accurately, the right to privacy from the Ninth Amendment. So how does the Ninth Amendment make abortion legal? That's the problem. You see, because even though the Supreme Court says, look, we can derive the right to privacy from the Ninth Amendment. Sure, they can. But how does the right to privacy translate to a right to have an abortion? Okay, so, for example, you have the right to privacy. What does that mean? Well, it means you have the right to go to your room. You have the right to leave the party, right? You have the right to tell your friends in the marketplace that you're done for the day, you want to go home and read a book. Right? But what lots of people don't understand is how does this right to privacy entail or strictly imply you have the right to an abortion? You see, privacy is a concept, right? Just like the number 3 is a concept. If you entertain the number 3, you ask yourself, what is in the concept of number 3? What is in the concept of number? It's odd. It's between 2 and 4. It's a natural number, blah, blah. All those things are in the concept of number 3. If someone says, what's a triangle? Okay, let me think about the concept of triangle. It's got 3 angles. The sum of the interior angles adds up to 180 degrees. It's two-dimensional. Triangles are two-dimensional. Within the concept of a stop sign, it's red. It's octagonal. What's in the concept of a cube? It's 3-dimensional. It's got 6 sides. You get the volume by multiplying this, the length by the width by the height. That's all in the concept of cube. But then when you ask what's in the concept of privacy, and people say, oh, if you have the right to privacy, you have a right to an abortion. Some people are saying, what the hell, what? Huh? What do you mean? If I have the right to privacy, what the hell does privacy have to do with abortion, many claim that they're befuddled, right? I don't understand. I understand what privacy involves, me being alone in my room. Privacy means this. I just don't see where you get abortion from in the concept of privacy. But we'll talk more about that later. So that's fundamentally, ladies and gentlemen, that's fundamentally, and there's more to this. We'll cover it. The problem here. Why are some people saying abortion should not be constituted? Abortion is not constitutional. Why are some people saying abortion is not constitutional? They're saying that because they don't see what the hell privacy has to do with abortion. Now, it could be the case, right, that the concept of privacy does guarantee abortion. It could, in that case, the Supreme Court would be correct. But honest, thinking people, right? We try not to be biased. We try to be objective, and some who happen to be pro-choice say, I just don't see the connection between the concept of privacy and the concept of abortion. I don't see the connection. Another amendment they cite, the Supreme Court, is the 14th Amendment. It says, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Meaning, you could be deprived of life, liberty, or property if there is due process. Nor deny to any person within his jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So, what's going on here? Now the Supreme Court is going to say, well, abortion is constitutional because it's guaranteed by the 14th Amendment. So we're looking at the 14th Amendment, and I don't see anything on abortion. Originally, it was intended to protect slaves that had been recently freed. So we look at this again. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So we have the right to life, liberty, and property, or the retention of our property. And what the Supreme Court did was to analyze liberty, freedom. We have the right to freedom. Well, if you have the right to freedom, you have the right to privacy again, which makes total sense. What kind of freedom would that be, right? If you cannot have any privacy. So again, the first part they get right, I think, or it seems the most objective onlookers or analysts. Yes, we do have the right to liberty, and liberty will necessarily imply the right to privacy. What kind of freedom would it be? You can't go alone. You can't hang out by yourself, reading a book in your room. That's not freedom. So once again, they're going to say, in the 14th Amendment, because we have the right to liberty, we have the right to privacy. And once again, they're going to say, since we have the right to privacy, we have the woman has the right to have an abortion. And once again, people are confused when they make that last move. When they go from, it's okay when the court, with everyone agrees, when the court says the right to privacy is in there, even though it's not explicit. It's implicit. Fine. Everyone agrees. But when they make that second move, the right to privacy entails the right to have an abortion, then people say, I am a bit confused. There's much more to this, and I think we're out of time. I'll bore you again, 11:40 on Thursday. Write your paper. If you don't write your paper, I must fail you, and I don't want to fail you. Of course I do. I salute you. Bye, everyone.